at deadlines, and it was already in the catalog before she finished it. It's like that was how she got it
nice.
done. Yeah. But she is working on a second book.
I mean, whatever drives you.
Whatever drives you.
Okay.
And I told her, I said, my goodness, I said, I think I'm bad. But I mean, I set my own deadlines and I meet them. But I have to have a deadline or I won't do anything. And she's like, no, that wouldn't work for me. She said, I'll do anything, clean the walls. And she said, it's the thing I wanted to do most in the world was write this book. I always wanted to write a novel. And she said, I finally thought I'm 60 and I want to write this novel and I have a contract. Still didn't write the novel. So she said that finally they put it in the catalog and I'm like, okay, now I really got to do it because they're advertising it. So she did
now
it.
I have to finish it.
Yeah. So she was really good as a panelist. So I did ask her if she'd come on our podcast at some point, and she said certainly. And I said, well, we'll wait until she has something new coming, and I will get in touch with her. I have her contact information. So hopefully maybe down the road next year we can speak to Mary about a new project when she is ready to do something. She would have come on, but the project she's currently working on is actually, well, by the time, because of our scheduling and the deadline for the paper stuff would be passed. So we said, no, let's do it when it's better for you and you actually get to talk to you about a new project. So that's later on down the road. We'll track her down and hopefully have a chat one day, but she was certainly open to the idea. So there's that, yeah.
We might have to set the deadline for her.
Yes. Well, I think she's all about chatting. Like, she's okay to, pick up the phone and have a yarn. That's not she wouldn't put that off at all. That's what it's sitting down in front of that daunting white page or white screen and trying to create something from nothing, from your head. And it is. And but she did it, and that's good. So, and I've done it, and I've got book news.
Share your news.
Well, I don't have the name of the book at all yet, but I will have a book coming out in 2019 with Flanker. We're in discussions right now, and we don't have an exact schedule, but I think it'll be early 2019. It's at an editor right now, getting shone up and fixed up and made so that it's, worth picking up at the stores one day. So that's my news, is that I am publishing a book with a Newfoundland publisher for the first time. My first two books were not with Newfoundland publisher, and my second two were independent. So I'm excited to get this book. Plus, this book is sort of a special book to me. I've been working on it since I moved back 6 years ago. It's the book I came home to write, and I've written 5 other manuscripts since then, and I've been working on this one because this character is unique, and I had to really try to figure out a way to make her likable, because she could easily not be, because she's a bit of a, she's not entirely innocent and sweet, but I like her and I admire her, and she's one of a kind, and she's a bit of a hard case, but she's still likable, and she has good qualities too. So she's been a bit of a challenge to write, and it'll be a series. This is the first book, and I've got the second one drafted as well, so I'll get working on that as well after Christmas. See how it all goes. So I'm hoping people will buy it. That's the main thing. I need people to buy it.
Well, congratulations, though, that you've gotten here.
Yeah, I'm really excited because it's a good fit for this book. It's historical fiction set in Newfoundland, but it's set in real places, fictional cove, fictional people, but it's set in real circumstances and surrounded by actual real people in minor sort of roles in the book. But mostly the story of one woman who, is living a life that's not particularly easy and has secret ambitions and dreams and never thinks that she's ever going to be able to fulfill them. And then, a gap opens in that, where there's no hope. Suddenly there's a little light, and she has to just kind of choose, what will she do? And she's a bit torn. But meanwhile, all sorts of other things happen that it's very dramatic and lots of stuff happens, and it's a cove in Newfoundland, but it's not particularly a peaceful, quiet one. Things happen in that cove, so you have to read the book to know what the story is. But it's got.
You're interesting me.
Yeah, it's it's very dramatic. I liken it to the Grey's Anatomy of books. Like something's always happening. Like it's she's got to deal with a lot of stuff, and a lot of stuff did happen back in those days. I mean, life wasn't easy, right? But I threw all kinds of stuff at the poor woman, but she's handling it quite well. She's quite the character. So
that's good.
So that's my news, and I'll have more details.
To read it. Okay.
Yeah, I'll have more details. We have to settle on the name and all that, but that'll be soon because we're looking at early. We were talking late spring, and now we're talking early spring. So it's going to be a quick turnover. But I mean, when I sent it, it was fairly well done. Like it still needs editing. They always need editing, but it was in pretty good shape. So I don't think it's going to go through too many more changes. Just fixing the holes and smoothing things over, and proofreading and stuff like that. So it's a process.
That's great,
and I'm excited about that. So
yeah.
So, and anything else you want to talk about?
I want to ask you because I want to hear about it. We were talking about podcasts last week, or maybe it was the week before. And I hear you've discovered a new one, and I want to hear about it because it sounds cool.
I've discovered two, which is weird because all of a sudden I discovered two new podcasts after we were talking. So one is called The Business of Life, and it's Arlene Dickinson from, Dragon's Den, she's very well known, CBC, but also a businesswoman in her own right, very, very successful woman. And Jan Arden, singer, songwriter, superstar, Canadian, songstress. And I love Jan. She is interesting and funny and irreverent. And she's been on 22 Minutes a lot. And she does and maybe Rick Mercer Report. She's been on a lot. That's right. And he gets her doing all kinds of stuff. Yeah, they have a love-hate relationship, I think. And so I love Jan. Funny. And I love Arlene, and they're doing a podcast called The Business of Life. And I have listened to quite a few episodes now. It's fairly new. And it's funny, and they argue with each other, but it's a lot of fun, and they laugh, and I think they're good friends. And so it's just really good podcast, and I've subscribed to it, and I get notified now, and I listen to it every week. And the second one is called, it's a CBC podcast. It's called Play Me, Playme, Play Me, by Expect Theater. And what it is theater. It's a show. So they're acting a script, it's acting. So it's a live production theater. It's done for radio or a podcast. And the episodes, they're sometimes you might have 2 or 3 episodes to make one show, but it's a theater production on podcast, which I love. And so the one I'm listening to right now,
right up your alley.
Yeah, the one I'm listening to right now is 2 Filipino nurses who are going to a small community in Saskatchewan. And these people are waiting for them to come, and then they arrive, and they have all these preconceived notions, and I'm not sure the era. It would have been it's not now. It's not set in present day. It's not contemporary. And it's hilarious. And it rings so true. and the nurses are funny, and the people are funny, and they're just trying to get a handle on, each other and how they're actually really more alike, right? So it is great. And I love it because you can listen to some theater, and then you don't need to see it. And then if somebody walks in, you can pause it, and then you can go back and listen some more. Very entertaining. I love it. And so I would look for, and it's new too. It's called Play Me by Expect Theater, and it's on CBC. It's a CBC podcast. So that's 2.
Sounds
my
good.
2 new
I'll
favorites.
have to look it up.
Yeah, I would definitely. And the last one, I was actually going to send a link to the theater Beyond the Overpass to Leslie Hewlett, who I spoke to last episode, to just look at. I wonder if it's something they'd be interested in doing, because I'd certainly help them record it. If they got a few of the kids together and recorded a little play, and I'd certainly, we've got the platform here, help them, put together, and I think they could, because they're creative people, do the sound effects and make it work. But that'd be interesting, and I'm going to certainly send it to them. And they're actually, there's another thing, they're looking for content. So they could actually put something together and have CBC pick it up as a podcast. So, yeah, I was really excited about that.
Interesting. Okay.
So there you go. My recommendations for podcasts. And Bridges Radio, always, because this is where you'll find out about the good stuff.
Okay, speaking of finding out about stuff, we should do a quick little what's on the go coming up, and then head into talking to Nick. But what do you have, what do you know about stuff that's happening in the province, in the area?
Okay. Well, it's December 7th, so December 9th, which is Sunday afternoon, 2 o'clock at the Quality Inn, the junior actors of Beyond the Overpass have their show. And I can't remember what the admission is. It's not a lot, but it's at the door at the Quality Inn Theatre, or Quality Hotel Theatre in Gander. So that's what I have coming up. I think Citadel House maybe has a couple things.
We do, yeah. A time at the Old Hall with From Stage to Stage and Sherman Downey. Those are two kind of groups coming together to put together this production of comedy and spoken word and not spoken word, stories and things. I'm forgetting the names for Newfoundland stories.
Yeah.
Recitations, maybe?
Yeah. The traditional old stuff, yeah.
Yeah, that's on December 8th, which is actually tomorrow evening. So that's coming up. And then next week, as we record this episode, we don't have a date nailed down, but it's going to be next week, either December 14th or 15th, we think, is going to be the Citadel House Christmas auction, raising money for families in the Janeway. And that's going to be hosted by Terry Penny.
And I'm going to be there, whatever the date is.
As far as we know.
And I guess we're closing in on Christmas now, so we're not seeing as many, we're getting past. A lot of people do their productions and their entertainment stuff in November and early December. So, because I know the Arts and Culture Center have had a few things. But Terry Penny, that'll be good. I am looking forward to that, and I like to attend the auction. I don't know. I think I've pledged a book for the auction. And if I haven't, I am now at this moment. And
awesome. I'll track you down later.
Yeah. I'll get it up there too. I better put it. I think I have one set aside. I'm fairly certain I've taken care of all this, but the minute I'm not looking at my desk. Okay, so now we have one more thing, and that is my interview with Nick. We had a great chat in the studio, and we will go to that. It was really funny. We had a lot of laughs, and I don't know if he's going to share a song with us or not. But I mean, he didn't in this one. Did the interview, but I don't know if there will be a song at the end of the. I think that was, if there is a song ready, I think there might be one coming up later in this episode. So anyway, that's it for me for today, December 7th. Have a good day, Bonnie. And now, here's Nick Earle.
All right. Welcome to Bridges. I'm here right now with Nick Earle at Citadel House. We have Dean Stairs in the booth. Hey, Dean. We've done a studio show before, Nick, but you're the first one that it's just been me. Usually Bonnie was here, and we did an entire show. So, how you doing today?
Excellent, thank you. Good. I've been here with Dean in studio for the past almost week, working on a new project, and yeah,
it was
great.
I was driving up the road, and I was going, okay, so I have to do this intro. And usually when I do these interviews, I go, how you doing? Where you at? Because I'm talking to musicians and they're on the road, and I'm like, I'm in Saskatchewan, or, and then I'm like, I don't even have to ask him about the weather where he's at, because it's raining, same as it is. We're in the same town. But it's November, so I'm actually even surprised by the rain.
Yeah, I'll take rain over snow. Yeah,
it's
definitely.
Exactly 0. exactly 0 degrees when I was driving up here. So the rain